Head down and hands in his pockets, looking like he had just seen a ghost, Jordan Spieth trudged from the Augusta National cabins toward the wide circle of men, women, and children surrounding the site of Danny Willett's championship ceremony. Spieth was wearing a green jacket, and trust me on this, you have never seen someone look so unhappy wearing a green jacket on a Masters Sunday, is how ESPN senior writer Ian O'Connor described Jordan Spieth after his disastrous showing at the Masters in 2016. It's been 8 years ever since, and the golfer who already has a Masters to his name has once again collapsed at Augusta. At just 30 years of age, the golfer has critics and fans pondering the possibility that he has been flaming out since 2016. Is that the case? Or is his recent showing merely another unfortunate incident in the nerve-wracking world of golf? Some backstory. Golf might not be considered an extreme sport, but it can be as cruel and illogical as it comes. In many sports, prodigious world-class talents tend to maintain a high level of performance until age or injury prevents them from doing so. Not golf, though. And no one better proves that than Jordan Spieth. As of 2017, Spieth was considered the present and future of golf. He was hardly 24 when he outclassed Matt Kuchar to win the British Open on the back nine of Royal Birkdale. That victory took his tally to 3 major wins since 2015 and his 11 professional wins since turning pro. He also had a Masters green jacket and a victory in the US Open by this point, which made him the first golfer since Jack Nicklaus to have bagged 3 major wins at only 23 years of age. At this point, it seemed like the sky was Spieth's stepping stone. But what no one could have predicted next was the absolute collapse that followed. Spieth just couldn't win. In fact, he didn't win any events in 2017, and by 2018, he was getting by on close calls, like a third-place finish at Augusta, but there were hardly any trophies to show for his efforts. By 2019, Spieth was truly in a slump, but 2020 proved to be an even bigger disaster. Between January and December, he tried unsuccessfully to break into the top 5 in every event he participated in. This rotten run of form also saw him miss the cut 6 times, including an embarrassing exit at the US Open when he shot 81 on Friday and completed 2 rounds at plus 14. After the Masters was rescheduled in November, Spieth joined the event and placed 71, a long shot in Las Vegas. Suddenly, it seemed the world had woken up to the reality that he was no good anymore. But Spieth would not go down easily. In fact, some 5 months into the new year, he was already notching up wins in the run-up to the 2021 Masters. After missing the cut at Torrey Pines, he made the top 5 finish at Bay Hill, Pebble Beach, and Phoenix. The win at the Valero Texas Open marked the end of his slump. Finally, Spieth was back to winning ways. His odds for winning the 2021 Masters, 11-1, also revealed this improvement in form and made him tied for the 3rd shortest behind Bryson DeChambeau and reigning champion Dustin Johnson. This period also coincided with his performances in the world rankings, and he had climbed up to number 38 in the world after horribly falling to 92nd by the end of January. Elite again? It is clear as day. Spieth is back. But to what degree? Is he back as a decent golfer? Or is he back to his best years between 2015 and 2017? Or even a third option, is this the facade of a player running on luck and a quirky skill set? Spieth's stats between 2020 and 2021 fit the bill of a decent but not great golfer who had the one thing going for him: milking the strokes gained metric for all it's worth. In 2021, he ranked 35th in the strokes gained tee to green charts, 151st in strokes gained off the tee, 44th in strokes gained putting, and 23rd in strokes gained off approach shots. But that chart painted a watered-down version of Spieth's performance by April 2021. Due to the oddities of the PGA Tour season, the chart tracked 38 measured rounds stretching back to September 2020, a period when Spieth had yet to get his head on right. If his performances were limited to the window of February to April 2021 though, excluding missing the cut at Torrey Pines in January, his stats would look similar to those he managed during his heyday between 2015 and 2017. For Spieth, iron play and understanding of the green have been his tickets to the biggest stages, and these areas of his game seem to have found new life in 2021. Since finding form in Phoenix, Spieth averaged plus 1.63 strokes gained tee to green per round between February and April 2021. That figure exceeds the numbers he posted during the 2015-16 seasons and is only slightly behind his 2017 form. And if history is anything to go by, players who master strokes gained tee to green are more likely to end up in free jackets. That's not to say Spieth is a finished product already, far from it. The tee box remains a huge nemesis for him, although we will give him his flowers for playing better off the tee since 2021. Put simply, Spieth deserves props for not actively sabotaging himself for half a stroke each round with the driver, much like he did between September 2020 and January 2021. However, this part of his game is still far from the finished product and could potentially cost him games. Then again, it's never been his thing to shoot the ball far and straight. Even after climbing to the world #1 rankings in 2015 after bagging 2 majors, he ranked 15th on the number of strokes per round off the tee. In 2017, when he won the British Open, Spieth almost ruined his chances with a horrid tee shot on the 13th hole. To an extent, his game seems to revolve around causing chaos and finding calm in the madness that ensues. So first, he makes a problematic shot that gets him into trouble, then funds the mental fortitude to course correct with some incredible plays. In 2021, that style of play made him a unique golfer. In 2024, it's boring and predictable. Thankfully though, Augusta National is a course that caters to players with Spieth's set of skills, particularly his insane iron play. The wide fairways give him all the room he needs to unleash chaos in his first shot without keeping it straight, while the challenging greens require the best approach shots. That's also within Spieth's repertoire, making him a must-watch player at the tournament. Or so we thought. Like rain from the clouds. Since winning the Masters in 2015, Spieth has become a recurring favorite to win the competition again. However, since his first meltdown at Augusta in 2016, that decision has become more and more questionable. At the 2024 Masters, Spieth began as he typically would, with a horrific opening round. He got on the course on Friday morning to resume his first round, but things quickly ended in doubt when he hit a quadruple bogey on the 15th hole and recorded his most abysmal score since he first started appearing at the Masters, 7 over 79. If that wasn't bad enough, his approach play was just as bad, as he managed to hit 7 greens in regulation during the opening round. Unsurprisingly, such a showing was detrimental in the second 9, especially at the 15th hole when he sent the green airborne with a short iron while taking his third shot. Then the ball landed in the water surrounding the green before he drove it over the back again after a drop. That was it. The quadruple bogey was complete. Spieth completely unraveled after this massive error. He hit another bogey on the 17th hole to finish the opening round with his record-setting abysmal score. He had come into the Masters this year with renewed confidence in his game despite a worrying injury. But even Spieth could not have predicted the comedy of errors that ensued. Justin Ray, a stats expert, revealed that Spieth has lodged himself in the history books of the last 2 decades as the only player to hit multiple scores of 9 or worse on the 15th hole. His bogey on the 17th was down to a missed short putt, which meant he needed a nifty up and down on the last just to break 80. After the opening round, Spieth's position as a favorite diminished significantly. If there was any chance of leaving the event with his second green, he needed several miracles to pull it off. The first miracle was making the cut. If this situation sounds familiar, that's because you've seen it play out before. And no, it's not just the wild double bogey he sprung at San Antonio. At the 2017 Masters, Spieth also made a quadruple bogey on the 15th during the first round. Thankfully, he never quite unraveled to rival or break Sergio Garcia's record for the worst score on the hole, 13, while defending his Masters title in 2018. However, after a lackluster play on the 17th that included yet another bogey and the struggle to break 80 on the 18th hole, Spieth's score of 79 is the worst in his history at the Masters. Aftermath. Spieth's 9 on the par 5 15th hole during the first round was 3 strokes over the cut line, and he was out of the 2024 Masters. Although we could debate whether he's experiencing another slump, we mustn't fail to address the elephant in the room: his tendon injury. The golfer has a partial test in his ECU tendon sheath, which makes it a struggle to keep the tendon in place. This has certainly affected how he handles his clubs and might explain some of his horrible shots. Plus, he aggravated the injury fairly recently during the RBC Heritage and Valero Texas Open. At the RBC Heritage, Spieth smashed his left wrist into a bunker bulkhead while following through with a shot, resulting in his tendon popping out. Thankfully, it returned to its groove, allowing him to finish the event tied for 39th place. Finally, the severity of this injury isn't lost on us either, since it caused him to quit the PGA Championship at Oak Hill last year. Only time will tell if the injury is responsible for his dip in form, or if Jordan Spieth has truly flamed out before he got the chance to shine. If you love this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one.